Hello everyone and welcome to our class of photo editing with Photoshop, Illustrator, Canva and Lightroom tutorial. So now we are on our chapter number 3 and here we'll be learning simple color grading in your image. Okay, so if you do have an image of yourself, okay, so how you will be able to color grade it using different kind of tools. Okay, so we'll be learning about all of that here in detail into this particular chapter. So let's not waste time and let's get started. So now over here, as you guys can see, now I'm here in the home page of the Photoshop. So from here, what I'm going to do is I am going to go to open option. And from here, I will open up an image. Okay, so I have downloaded this image from pixels.com. So from there, you will be able to download some free images over there as well. And now let's take this image and let's open this up. So here now, as you guys can see, I do have opened up this particular image over here in my screen. Okay, so from here, you guys can see what are the basic problems of this particular image. So from here now, let's go to this layers option. And if you do want to increase the layers option, you guys can come here and increase the layer option. And I want to make a duplicate of this particular layer. Let's come here and let's make a duplicate. Let's go to this copy. So I will just rename this one as copy over here. And now the next thing what I'm going to do is I will select this particular copy. And from here, now I am going to put on some filter. Okay, so now let's come here. Let's go to filters. And before that, let's convert for smart filters. Okay, that afterwards, if I do want to come here and change anything, I will be able to come here and change things out. So I'll click over here and I will just click on OK. And it's just converting into a smart filter. Okay, so again, I will come here and let's go to the filter again. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to take this camera raw filter. Okay, so the shortcut key for that is Shift plus Control plus A from your keyboard. So let's click on to this particular option. And now over here on my left side, you guys can see I do have different options. Okay, so from here, you need to know what are the basic problems here. So now over here, I will have a page like this, as you guys can see. And from here, now I will work on with the highlights and the shadows. Okay, so over here for that, what I need to do is I need to come here. And if I do want to decrease the highlights of this particular image, I will come here. And over here, I will decrease the highlight, as you guys can see. And now in the same way, if you do want to increase the contrast, you guys can come here and maybe increase the contrast a little bit. And if you do want to increase the shadow, you guys can maybe come to the 75 option over here. And now this is how it actually looks. And if you want to put on some exposure as well, let's give this one up a little bit exposure over here. And now if you want to work on with the whites and the blacks, you guys will be able to work on with the whites and the blacks over here. And let's say now you don't have any manual number. Okay, you want to do it automatically, like Photoshop will be doing it for you. So in that case, what you need to do is you need to click on Shift. And now over here, all of these options here, you guys can see have turned into auto. Okay, so I will just come here, click onto this auto. And over here, the same way, I will click onto auto blacks. Okay, so this is the image which I have right over here. Okay, so I had actually changed the exposure. Okay, I had changed the contrast over here. I have put no highlights and also a 73 plus shadows. And here you guys can see I do have the auto whites and the auto blacks. And if you want to see how it used to look before and how it looks now, let's come here and let's click right over here. So this is how it used to look. And this is how it looks right now after I have actually edited all of this part. And the same thing you guys can see if you come here and if you just turn this back off. Okay, so here, if you just click here, you guys can see I have turned it off. And if you want to see it, I do have turned it back on again. And now over here, if you want to work with the temperature and the tint and the vibrance, you'll be able to work right over here as well with all of these options. So now again over here, if I do want to basically change the sharpening or the texture of this image in total, okay, I'm not talking about like skin glow up or skin retouching over here. But if you want to actually enhance the beauty of this image in total by just smoothing the texture, in that case, you need to come here in the properties panel and let's go with effects. Okay. And what you can do is come here to the texture. And if you want to increase it, you guys can just increase it quite from here as well. Okay. So now if you want to zoom in, you guys can see now I had zoomed in. And if I do just decrease the texture, how it actually looks. And over here, let's come here and just let's increase the texture. And this is how it looks. Okay. So now again, if you want to do it individually, let's come over here and let's just click on OK. And now if you want to zoom out, control minus over here. So you guys can come here and go with the control minus. So now over here, again, I will just click on Shift O. Okay, let's click on Shift O over here. Let's come to this screen. Let's click on Shift and O if I do want to just zoom out from here. Okay, if you want to just check all of this out, you guys can come here and now just click on Fit. Okay, so this is how it basically looks right now. Okay, so if you want to come here onto the effects option, you guys can basically see all the effects which I had put over here. Okay, and also here you guys can see the temperature, the vibrance and stuff. Okay, so as you guys can see, this is how it used to look before, and this is how it looks right now with all the effects which you had put over here. So you have changed the texture, the clarity. Okay, so now let's come here and you had also changed all of this basic option. Okay, so if you do want to just fit it, you guys can come here and let's just fit it. Okay, so let's click on fit in view. Over here, let's come here and let's click onto this option. Let's come here and from here, let's click on fit in view. Let's come to this fit option right over here. And now if you want to go up here, you guys can see we had work on the lights as well. Okay, so now let's move deep over here. Okay, let's try to make it more interesting with some different editing over here. So again, over here, if you want to individually change all of its faces, or if you want to sharpen this, what you can do is you guys can come here into this detail option. And from detail option, you guys can just make it a bit sharp. Okay, so let's go with somewhat around 40. Okay, so let's come here and let's place it somewhat around 50 or 40, anything as such. So this is how it used to look with the sharpening. And this is how it is looking without the sharpening. Okay, so I'll just sharpen it a little bit right over here. And if you do want to use any noise reduction, you guys can come here. And also if you want to decrease or increase the color noise reduction, if you want to add anything, you guys can come here and add those things up over here as well. So now over here, what I want to do is, as this one is the subject over here, I want to actually give them a more bright color or more strength to their color according to the background. Okay, so for that, what I need to do is I need to come here and I need to click this particular option known as the masking. Okay, so if you guys click on M from your keyboard, you guys will have this particular option in your PC as well. So let's come here, let's click on mask, and over here you do have this particular option. Let's come here, let's go to this subject over here, as you guys can see. So now over here you guys can basically see that it has actually choose the subject. Okay, so if you want to change anything, just click on shift, and now if you just come here, or let's click on control, you guys can come here, and if you do want to move up and down, just click on control and the wheel. Okay, so come here, let's click on to this particular option. If you want to zoom in, control plus from here. And now if you don't want to see the overlay, you guys can come here and you guys can select show overlay option. So the first thing what I'll do is I will just click here in the show overlay option, and now over here I will just increase the exposure a little bit. Okay, so I will come here, I'll increase the exposure a little bit, and now I will just decrease the contrast from here. Okay, so I will just decrease the contrast from here, and now let's come down, and from here, if you want to decrease the highlights, and over here, if you want to increase the shadow, you guys can come here and you guys can actually change the shadows over here as well. So if I take too much of white here, you guys can see this particular part is basically losing its detail. So what I'll do is I will just decrease the whites a little bit, and over here maybe I will just increase the blacks a little bit. Okay, so I will come here and I'll just decrease the blacks a little bit over here as well to give this one up a more color. And also here you guys can actually check on the temperature. Okay, but I will just keep it more realistic, quite like this. And now over here, if you want to work on with the hue and all, you guys can come here and let's go back. So come to this particular part, and if you want to go down, you guys can come here and you guys can actually work on with the texture. Okay, let's increase the texture from here. Okay, so I will just click on this one, and now let's come down, and from here what I'm going to do is if I want to add another mask over here, so what I'll do is I will just click on add, and from here now I will select the sky in the background. Okay, so I will come here and I will just click here and select the sky option. So let's come here into the sky option, and now if you want to see the overlay, here I will just click on see overlay over here. Let's come here. Let's just click on the sky. And now let's go here onto the subject option. So I will just turn this off. Let's go to the sky. And from here now let's click on show overlay. And what I'm going to do now is I will come here, and from here now I will change up the exposure and each and everything. Okay, so let's come here. If you do want to go back, okay, so come here and I will just turn this back. Okay, so otherwise let's select this one and let's just click on to the delete option. And if you want to invert it as well, you guys can come here and you guys can actually invert it as well. So let's come here, and from here now let's try to create a new mask. Okay, so I will now go here and I will just click on select sky. Okay, so now this one is a different mask. So over here you guys can see now, if you do want to see the overlay, you guys can come here and you guys can just take this mark out. So I will come here, and from here let's go down, and if you want to change the exposure, you guys can see I am able to change the exposure from here as well. Okay, if you do want to increase it, you guys can come here and increase it from here itself. And now if you want to decrease the contrast, you guys can come here, decrease the contrast. And also let's come here. If you want to increase the contrast, you guys can come here and increase the contrast as well. Let's come here. Let's work on with the shadow a little bit. If you want to work on with the highlights, let's come here and let's work on with the whites as well. Okay, so if you want to work on with the whites, come here and keep it somewhere here, and the blacks to actually give some detail. Okay, so come here, select the blacks. And what I'm going to do now is I will come here. Let's move this particular thing down. And from here, if you want to work on with the saturation, you guys can come here and you guys can work on with the saturation as well. If you want to give this one up blue color, okay, so you guys can come here and you guys can basically give this one up a blue color. And if you want to work on with the saturation, if you want to increase it, you guys can come here and increase the saturation over here itself. Okay, so make sure that you don't do it too much. Okay, so now once you are done here, so let's see how it used to look before. So this is how it used to look before, and this is how it looks right now. Okay, so now if you want to create another mask, okay, so I will just create another mask, and what I'm going to do is I am going to select the whole background. Okay, so I will come here, click on create new mask, and from here I will select background. Okay, so I will come here and this whole background is being selected right now. Okay, so now if you want to turn off the preset, okay, or the overlay, you guys can come here and you guys can turn off the overlay from here. And from here you do have the add option. If you want to subtract anything, you guys can come here, and using the brush one, you guys can come here and you guys can basically subtract. Okay, so I will come right over here, and now let's come to this particular mask. And from here, if you want to work on with the size of the brush, let's come here. And if you do want to add anything, you guys can come here and add basically thing up from here as well. So come here, let's increase the brush size. And if you want to move it, you guys can come here and you guys can move it as well. Okay, so come here and let's if you want to select this particular part, you guys can come here and select any particular part over here as well. So now let's select this particular new brush. Okay, so if you want to delete it, you guys can come here and delete it as well. So now let's work on with the exposure in total. And also I will just decrease or increase the contrast a little bit. And also now let's decrease the highlight. And also if you do want to put up some shadows, let's work on with the whites. Let's increase the whites a little bit. And also I will just decrease the blacks a little bit over here. And if you do want to give this one up a temperature, okay, so let's come here and let's give this one up a warm temperature. So I will just come here and I'll just increase this one. And if you want to work on with the hue and saturation, you guys can come here and you guys can basically work on with the hue and saturation. Okay, so now I will just go back again. So let's come right over here. And if you want to go back, let's come here. Let's put up this particular color. Okay, so let's come here and let's give out this particular color over here onto the sets. So I will come here, I will give this particular color and let's go down. Okay, so if you don't like this one, you guys can come here and maybe this one gives up a more realistic look. And if you want to work on with the saturation, you guys can come here and you guys can basically work on with the saturation. And also if you want to come down, if you want to work on with the texture in detail, you guys can come here and also increase the clarity as well. Okay, so if you want to decrease the clarity, you guys can come here. And also here you do have a curve. So this is the color wheel which you guys can come here and you guys can basically add some detail to your image over here itself. Okay, so come here and if you do want to decrease it, you guys can come here and decrease it quite like this. So let's see how it used to look before and how it looks right now. Okay. So now as you are done basically over here, you guys can come here and if you want to change anything in properties in general, you guys can also do that. So now over here, as you guys can see, this filter is basically been applied over here in this particular image. So now if I want to save this file, let's go to file and from file, let's go to export and let's click on quick export as PNG. Okay, so now let's come here. Let's select where do I want to save this. Let's come here into my resource file. And now I will just name this one as color grading. Okay, so I will just name this one as color grading. And let's click here onto the save option. And over here, my file will be saved in my system. Okay, so let's just wait for that one and I will just take you to my PC where it will be saved and I'll be showing you how it actually looks. So now let's come here. Let's go to my file. Let's go to desktop. Let's go to the resource file. And this was the before image. Okay, so let's come here. Let's click on just once. So here, this is how it used to look before. And after color grading, this is how it basically looks right now. Okay, so hope to see you all in the next chapter where we'll be learning more about Photoshop. See you all. Take care, everyone.